So I guess this will work. I can, because so you can go live on your phone, and I can screen the comments and questions on my phone. I'm just scared of it toppling over completely.
Well, no, right? We can fix it.
Okay. Oh wait, it says rotate. Oh, never mind.
So this is how to tighten this. This, you can swivel this way. This, like this way.
I really just need to buy a mount, like a nice mount. Okay, so it is 4:20. Oh, it's already live. Okay, it's live, so don't say any bad words. Do you have everything set up the best you can?
I can let me get those real quick.
One or two?
Two. You already lined the baking trays?
Yes. James is just getting set up for a few minutes. It's not quite 4:30. The ring light that I'm using actually broke, so I had to zip tie it and get it going. So I wanted to make sure it was going to work, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna set this down. Hey, Nicole. What did you say? Yes, Jesse, you are. James is just kind of getting things set up for a second. All right, you ready? I need Corey. I can't, so I'm having an issue. I can't pull up the comments on my phone and I can't see them on your phone. Because I don't want to hear my voice on this phone. I guess I can mute it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't do all that yet. Just get started. It's 4:30. Start with the white chocolate ganache. I'm gonna move the camera for you. So, are you doing it on the stove or the microwave? Okay. This is so weird. Okay. I'm gonna order a mount today. Hold your hand out so I can see what the delay is on this. Okay, so there's a 20-second delay. All right, go ahead and get started.
All right, so we are going to make our white chocolate ganache first, so that it has time to cool while we're making the macaroons. So the ratio for whipping consistency white chocolate ganache is 3-to-1. So that's 12 ounces of white chocolate chips and 4 ounces of cream. So we put it on about medium heat. Don't turn it too high because you don't want your chocolate to burn. So kind of just stir it the whole time. We're gonna cook this until all of your white chocolate chips melt.
Can you talk as loud as possible? I know you already are, but a little bit louder. I'm gonna buy a microphone too.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think it might have been my phone. Can everyone hear James pretty decent? Jesse said yes. So I guess let's just be mindful and talk super loud.
So it takes a little bit of time, but after it gets started, it happens pretty quickly. Can they see this?
Kinda. What brand of white chocolate? We're not picky.
I'm just using
Whatever comes the
Hershey's
yellow.
white chocolate chips.
Yeah. Janelle, you didn't miss much. What he's doing right now is melting down heavy cream in white chocolate so that later it's ready to go and whip into a ganache that you can use to fill your cookies with. Boo, I'm out of time. My stinky cat. Nicole, you didn't miss much. He's just melting down the white chocolate with heavy cream so that he can make a ganache later. Why not just do it in the microwave? Why not just do it in the microwave?
I'm just
Fancy.
no.
He doesn't use microwaves often.
Yeah.
You can do it in the microwave.
You
He
can't
just
do it in the
doesn't.
microwave. In the microwave, you can cook on just regular at 30-second intervals until it's melted.
It takes longer, and the chances of it overflowing are great.
Well, the thing that I don't like about it is, so you'll notice that after your chocolate starts melting, you'll have a few pieces that don't melt all the way. And if you get it to that stage in the microwave, it has a higher chance of burning. So it's honestly easier just to do it on the stove. You can make sure all your chocolate's melted and it won't burn as easily.
Do you prefer ganache or buttercream?
It depends, honestly. Buttercream is more stable.
We added ganache to this live just to give you guys another
Option
yeah.
to fill with.
You can take the milk that you're going to use for the ganache and you can soak cereal in it. You can do candy corn, lavender.
Yeah, you can turn it. It's very versatile. Yeah, we've made candy corn, white chocolate ganache,
Lucky Charms,
Lucky Charms,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
We did Fruity Pebbles.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, one time we did an entire cereal box. So it was like Fruity Pebbles, Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, chocolate crispy. I don't know what those things were. But it was 6 different flavors. Can you add Bailey's?
Yes. So for, I believe I did half heavy cream, not half Bailey's. It was, so for like this batch, say I had 12 ounces, I would have done an ounce of Bailey's and 3 ounces of heavy cream.
Yes, Cocoa Pebbles. We don't eat a lot of cereal. I don't know why, we just don't. We did the Bailey's in a St. Patrick's Day macaron assortment. We did Guinness beer, Bailey's, Shamrock Shake, Leprechaun lemonade.
I did Lucky Charms, that one too.
Lucky Charm. Yeah, because of the leprechaun. Someone posted a huge comment. Let me see if I can see it. Hi, friends. Cut some. Would you use a different... You would, for the... Sorry, so it's really weird how I have the phone set up. It's zip tied, so I can barely see the comments. Yes, you would use a different ratio for milk and dark chocolate. Post in the event, and I'll give you the ratios. When flavoring... This sucks. I can't see the comments. Is there... When flavoring, Max, do you prefer extracts, emulsions, or all the above? So we actually don't flavor the shells for most of our cookies. We add the flavoring in our filling. The only shells that we flavor are chocolate, anything that has cinnamon, pumpkin spice, lavender.
So,
Yeah,
this is what I was talking about with the little chunks still left. When it gets like that, it's easy to burn your chocolate in the microwave.
Log in with your phone to read the comment. I'm trying. My phone is behind a little bit. We loaded up all of our stuff and we're at our grandmother's house so that we could do this without kids. Do you ever use a double boiler to melt the chocolate? No, you can though.
I mean, you can. It's going to take longer than this. If you're using straight chocolate, I would recommend a double boiler. But since this has the cream in it, you really don't need to do it that way.
12 ounces of white chocolate, how much cream?
4.
4. Vicky, 12 ounces would be 4 ounces of cream. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. I have high speed internet, but this keeps freezing. That's got to be melted by now. It's just about there.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. Are you, mine's buffering a bit too.
So this is done now.
Hey, Selena.
So what I will do is transfer that to
Someone said no wonder his arms look like Popeyes. You should have seen his calves. When I first met him, he was working at Circa, so he would be going up and down very steep stairs carrying, you know, tons and tons of food, like, all day long. His calves were massive. We'll post the recipe. Yeah, so I have the recipe posted in the event. I don't know if I posted the method. Actually, I've never typed out the method, so I didn't post it. But I'll work on this week typing out the method.
So I just transferred it to a Pyrex dish. And I put it in the fridge.
Oh, well, it's awful. It's awful. I know what I did was I added myself into your video. Okay, so I took that away. So we're gonna start with the macaroons. This is James. He does most of the technical baking, and I do the marketing, bookkeeping, scheduling, some of the boring stuff like measuring stuff out, bars, brownies. But he does all of the difficult baking. We sell number cakes, regular cakes, macaroons, and then like variety sampler breads and pastries. He teaches macaroon classes in person, and then he does them virtual. We do virtual groups, and then we do virtual one-on-ones as well. But his favorite thing is to do one-on-one in-persons. He's going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to do the best I can with this phone.
So before we actually get started, you're going to want to go ahead and get everything ready to go before you start making them. Get your tip in your piping bag.
What did you do with the white chocolate?
I put it in the fridge to cool it down. It cools down and turns back solid, and you can whip it, and it will become light and fluffy to fill cookies with.
No, Jesse. I mean, I bake a little bit, but nothing like James. He decorates all the cakes too. So he'll get them iced and ready, and then I'll come in and pluck all the little toppings on.
So today we are making. I'm gonna do a larger batch than y'all. Um, it's no different. The only thing is it's just more ingredients. So I'm actually making a batch of pumpkin spice macaroons. Um,
What about the water, the oven?
yeah, you want to go ahead, gonna want to go ahead and set your oven to 300 degrees. Um, get a pot with water in it that your mixing bowl fits in without touching. Um,
So we use these templates by Just Fine Best. If you don't have templates or you didn't print them out, you can just use parchment paper.
yeah,
We don't use silicone mats, but if you want to, that's on.
you're more than welcome
Yeah,
to.
we just don't use them. They don't work for us.
Um,
There is a discount code in the group for these. I think it's a 10% code, but you type directly onto these if you choose, and then you can reuse them. You can put a piece of parchment over this and use it as a template.
yeah.
So these are really neat. There's a group code for those.
And actually, what I do with these, so I can get a full dozen macaroons on one tray, is so there's two open spots here and here, and I just go ahead and pipe a macaroon in those blank spots, and that will give you a full dozen if you're using these.
Start boiling the water.
Yeah, you go ahead and start your pot of water. You can turn it on high. It doesn't really matter. You just want your water to boil, and then you'll put that on. So here I have my sifted almond flour and powdered sugar. So for this batch of pumpkin spice macaroons, it's 345 grams of almond flour, 300 powdered sugar, and what I did, I sifted it all together, and then I pulled out 2 tablespoons of the mixture and added 2 tablespoons of pumpkin spice. For a single batch, the size most of y'all will be doing, I would pull out 2 teaspoons. Yeah.
All right.
And add 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice if you wanted to.
So right now he's just getting the water boiling.
Boiling.
The oven is on
300 degrees.
Do you resift after adding the pumpkin spice?
Yes. So actually, a little trick that I do, if you have a food processor, you can put your almond flour and powdered sugar in that and blitz it up, and that will sift it for you. So for y'all, it will be 105 grams of granulated sugar and 100 grams of egg whites. You want to put that in your mixing bowl.
Hand me some scissors. I'm just gonna hold the phone.
You want to go ahead and pull a stick of butter and 2 cups of powdered sugar as well for buttercream.
Michelle, we use real egg whites, but when he's baking a lot, he will use carton egg whites and just add a few fresh egg whites. So right now they're real egg whites separated, but you can do carton.
Yeah. What I usually recommend is 2. It seems like a lot, but basically it's half. Your egg whites will whip up a lot faster if you do half. So usually what I recommend is 2 real egg whites per 100 grams.
How long and how high for the almond in the processor? Just a few blitz. You don't want to like...
I mean, you can pulver, probably about 10 seconds. I mean, mine only has 1 speed, high, and I'll do it for, I don't know, probably 10, 15 seconds. If you do it too much, you'll start to break it down. It'll turn oily, and it'll stick, like start to cake up around the corners.
We're still waiting on the water to boil. A lot of people talk about washing utensils and mats and pans and spoons with vinegar or lemon. We don't do any of that. We just wash it with hot soapy water and call it a day. We use Blue Diamond almond flour. No, we don't age our eggs. We don't age the eggs at all. Carrie, the single batch is 105 grams.
What?
Egg whites.
No, 100 grams of egg whites.
So a single batch is going to be 100 egg whites. James is doing a triple, so his is 300, just so there's more to play around with and show you guys.
So my water is coming to.
I'm going to walk around.
Boil.
He just took some of the water out so that it doesn't cook your egg whites.
Yeah, you don't want your water to be hitting the bottom of your bowl, and that does include when it's bubbling up. You don't want those bubbles touching.
Yes, Catherine, we can get the same stiff peaks using partial carton egg whites. So now you're going to go ahead and get your sugar, granulated sugar and egg whites on your pot, and don't let them stop moving.
Yeah, you want to stir the whole time. You don't have to stir real fast, but you definitely want to stir the whole time. You're going to want to cook your egg whites to 140 degrees.
No, he doesn't want to use he doesn't use a whisk. Why not?
Well, I want the egg whites to all start cooking before
Incorporating air.
before you start to whip it.
What thermometer do you use?
I
James doesn't use
I
a
don't
thermometer.
use a thermometer anymore. But just like a digital instant read thermometer, or you can use an old school thermometer. Just be careful with the old metal ones. They have a little dimple on the side of them, about 2 inches up. Most of them do. And that is where it reads from.
Yes, Lillian, Swiss method. Are you at 140?
So how I tell with my egg whites, something you can look for before you check the temperature. You'll see when steam starts coming off of the inside of the bowl and not from around the outside, is when you're right about there. Sorry, my handle on my mixer broke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he doesn't use a whisk right now because he doesn't want to start whipping them. Sorry about that. I think my finger was covering the microphone. Can you guys hear me better now? How much granulated sugar? 105?
Yes.
So the granulated sugar is 105. Eggs 100. Granulated sugar is 105.
105. Egg whites are 100. Almond flour is 115 grams. So one thing you'll see me do is I walk to the sink a lot. Tips and tricks: wash your dishes as you go. It will save you a lot of time in the long run.
So tell them what you're doing before you start.
So I'm gonna go ahead and whip my.
Yes, Nicole, take it off the heat when you get to 140.
Until you get soft heat.
Debbie, I have the I have the amounts listed in the event. So you're going to go to on speed 6 until you get soft peaks. You see them start to turn glossy too. So It said they're saying it's completely muted, no sound. Okay, hang on, trying. Sound. Okay, I don't think it's getting muted. I think it's way too loud with the mixer. So he did speed 6 for about 2 minutes.
Something like that.
Until he gets soft peaks.
Soft peaks. And I'm gonna put off.
Jennifer said it takes 30-40 minutes to get any peaks.
30 to 40 minutes.
We didn't talk the entire time. The only thing he did was mix it on speed 6 for that amount of time.
What she was showing you in the mixer is you see ribbons starting to form when it's running around. So I'm at soft peaks now. So this is when you would want to add your food coloring.
Marcia said that looks really wet.
What looks really wet?
Your mixture.
It is still wet.
It's not done. He's going back on the mixer. Right now, this is the point where you would add your food coloring if you're going to add any. We're doing orange because these are going to be pumpkin spice for us. No, we don't add cream of tartar. Jennifer, if you want to message me or James later, we'll troubleshoot with you and see what's going on with your eggs. It shouldn't take 30 minutes. He is about to turn the mixer on. The volume probably will go away. So do you want to tell him what you're about to do?
I added my food coloring, and I'm going to turn it on high speed now. Start it slow if you're adding food coloring so it doesn't go everywhere. But then I'm going to increase it to speed 10 until stiff peaks form.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Would this be where you separate it or not yet? So what he just said, if you can see it spinning, that's what you're going to want to look for.
So you see how it turns into like a ball in the center of your whisk? That's the kind of stiff peaks you're looking for.
For the food coloring, you can use a gel or a powder, but no oil food coloring. The oil will break down your meringue.
Yes. So I just tapped the excess meringue off of my whisk just because it makes a mess.
So let's real quick talk about if you wanted to split this batch.
So if you wanted to split it, we'll get there in just a second.
Okay.
But don't add your coloring now. Go ahead and get to this stage. Add your mixture to it. Make sure it is sifted.
You want to use my phone for a timer? What are you doing?
Set a timer.
For what?
Huh?
For what?
For mixing this.
Oh.
Um,
So what James does that a lot of people don't do is he does the macronage in the mixer. So instead of using your arm and struggling and it taking a while, he does it in the mixer, and it's so much quicker.
Yeah, it does save a lot of time. So this mixture is in there now.
Would you recommend doing this for a single batch?
Yeah, you can do it for a single batch.
Okay.
So normally what I tell people when they're starting out, do the first step in the mixer just to get it incorporated. Do it for, I set a timer for 15 seconds on speed 4. So that's what I'm going to do now. Back on. So as you can see, mine now, everything's incorporated without all that difficult work of doing it by hand. So what I'll do is just run my whisk around the outside, and normally I'll do this stage. I'll put it back on the mixer for another 15 seconds. I'm going to do it by hand just to show you how that is.
If using multiple colors, would we do that before adding the coloring, when you added yours, or would we finish it off with just the white and separate it?
So just the white. So this stage is where I would separate it for colors. I would recommend doing it for, instead of 15 seconds, do it for about 10, just to get the almond flour incorporated. So, hang on one second. So yeah, do it for about 10 seconds, and
Sorry.
is that good?
No, it's fine. I think my finger was covered again. Or, well, he was washing dishes. His OCD.
So, but if you're mixing, just give it a stir a few times, and make sure all your almond flour is incorporated pretty evenly. And then I would split it off in half, and then color. But the thing about doing that is you have to watch out how much color you add. If you're trying to get a dark color, I don't recommend doing that, just because a lot of times with darker colors, you're going to not add enough of it the first time, and then you're going to mix and realize that it's not the color that you want, and then you'll add more trying to get it the color you want, and then it ends up overmixed. Only one more. Did you bring the wrong piping bag?
I did.
Only one more piping bag out.
So make separate batches for dark colors.
You don't have to, but
Be careful.
just be careful.
You don't have another tip. A single batch of macaron. Mine is grainy. Is that correct?
What kind of almond flour are you using?
What kind of almond flour are you using, Nicole? Blue Diamond.
Huh?
Blue Diamond.
Um, it might, it's hard to say. It shouldn't be grainy.
What do you want to say to her? Keep going?
Yeah, I would definitely keep going. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is they aren't going to be completely smooth. I mean, they'll still, it shouldn't affect the way they turn out. It'll just be, it'll look a little grainy. How fine of a sifter did you use? So when you get to this stage, so you can stir it around. Just like I said, be careful not to overmix it. The proper way to macronage is run your spatula around the outside and push through the middle. So, and the way I check to see if mine is mixed enough, pick it up with my spatula, and it shouldn't break like that. This needs to go a little longer, but it looks like flowing lava.
She said, I think really fine, and I did it twice.
Well, I mean, you could look at mine. Mine's still, does it look like similar to that? Mine's still kind of grainy.
The only thing that's going to happen is they might be a little bit ugly. They might not ugly, just a little bit grainy and chunky.
So I'm going to take this a little further. But this is kind of what you want it to flow like. If you're new to making them, that's where I would recommend stopping. Don't try to take it much further because you will overmix it. Is where I will stop. Now, this is the way I fill my bags. I have an old vase that we have that works perfectly. So my batch actually to do this simple handle broke. So I'm going to keep a little bit in my mixing bowl, and I'll mix that up just to show you. What overmixed batter looks like.
So, in case it's still frozen, not much. So right now he's going, and he's over mixing a little bit of the macaroon batter so he can show you what it looks like if you've gone too far. So that's overmixed?
Yes.
So this is
Overmixed. So if you could see how glossy and shiny it is, that's one way to tell. But your other way to tell is it's going to be a lot thinner.
so the recipe is in the event. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it's posted in the event. I'll post it again. Right now, if you're just coming on, this is overmixed macaroon batter. He said that it's runny and it's shiny. And he's just showing you guys so you know what it looks like if you've gone too far.
And you'll see what the macaroons turn out like. We'll have a piping bag or a tip for this bag.
James, I'll wash those in a little bit.
Okay.
A lot of people said thanks for overmixing it and showing them what that looks like. All I've ever seen is a figure 8, but that would mean it's overmixed.
I don't know what you mean by figure 8.
She mean like when you showed her how to do the 8, that's.
You're talking about.
It's overmixing what leads to hollow shells.
Yes. I mean, a number of things can lead to hollow shells, but that is probably the number one cause.
If you overmix, there is no saving it. You might as well just.
I mean, they can still turn out. But they'll have the shells will be thin. They'll be hollow. I'm gonna bake these ones off that I did overmix just to show you how they turn out.
Nicole, they're not going to come out quite right. If you're just eating them for yourself, I would say go for it. Otherwise, they're probably going to be hollow and really,
you can sell them
really frilly feet. What about undermixing?
Undermixing, I mean, they'll still turn out, but they'll have the little nipple on top of the macaroons.
So the undermixed ones are going to look kind of chunky. They'll have a nipple on top, very grainy looking.
Yeah.
Do yours usually end up all the way full? Do yours end up all the way full or just close enough to fill with maturation?
Most of the time they're pretty full.
Most of the time, they're pretty full. We actually don't mature our macaroons. We will bake them, and as soon as they become room temperature, we'll freeze them. We fill the same day as we sell them. They last longer for our customers that way.
I think they're just they. To me, I think one thing that I'm not trying to say this to be bragging or whatever, but a lot of people say that buy our macarons say they've had macarons from all over the place, and that ours are the best that they've ever had. I think that's because they're fresh.
Mm-hmm. How many do we make in a week or a month? We've made over, we've done 120, 150 dozen months before. We're scaling back on macaroons a little bit and moving into some more of cakes, macaroon classes, macaroon virtuals. So we don't sell as much as we used to. I would say, Karina, they stay fresh for about 3 days after they're filled in the fridge. Sarah's coconut flour did not work. She tried half almond, half coconut for these. About 18, Debbie.
18
in a single. Mm-hmm.
This batch that I did will make about 5 dozen.
So he's going to start piping these out. If you're just popping on here, these are Just Find Best templates, and you can find them. Someone linked them. I'll link them again. Or you can use a printed template too.
So I pipe to the edge, then flip your wrist.
Jennifer, so if I am filling the macaroons at say 10:30 and they're not getting delivered until 1 p.m., yes, I will put them in the fridge. If I'm about to walk out and take them with me, I just bring them with me. But if they're gonna, I keep them in the fridge as much as possible. I don't know any alternative for macaroons if you have a nut allergy. The only thing we know is almond flour. We haven't experimented with any other alternative.
These are the spots that I was talking about in the beginning.
Hey, Nikki.
That I fill just to get actually a dozen per tray. Now I will do them at the end. That way I have a good judge of size, since there is no template spot.
Nikki is in the sugar cookie marketing group. James actually did a one-on-one class with her, and she when she opened up her storefront bakery. So if you're ever in Savannah, Sweet Soirees by Nikki, stop by and see her. Are these 1.5 or 2 inch?
Closer to 2, probably in between.
Closer to 2, probably in between. I don't have a template. You mentioned you do not mature your macaroons. I'm wondering, how is the texture of the shell when filled and eaten fresh? How does the filling not ooze out? I don't know. I don't know. Sarah, if you're still on, can you tell them about the cookies? No, Sarah Purdue, sorry. Sarah's local to us. She actually started buying macaroons from us way before sugar cookie marketing was ever even made. So he's still working on piping these out. This is a triple batch. Most of you guys, if you're baking along, did a single batch. That's why he has so much. We started out only selling macaroons. And that's where I posted one time in a community group saying, hey, me and my husband make macaroons. Does anybody want some? And it took off from there. We've done macaroon subscriptions, almost all last year. Took us through COVID. Yes, Becky, it's going to be posted in the marketing group. So these are all of the macarons that he has. Nicole got 50. A single batch is going to be 18 finished macarons.
This size.
Yeah, Angela. So when I first started, I was selling them at $15 a dozen. Please don't do that to yourself. They are worth so much more than $15 a dozen.
So now I'm going to tap these trays real quick. It gets any air bubbles out. And it's going to smooth out your shells.
And now we're at 25 a dozen. You can see that these have kind of flattened a little bit compared to those. So, Nicole, you can bang them on the counter, or you can tap the bottom like he's doing.
I just tap the bottom because it's quieter. We have tiny kids in the house, usually asleep when I'm baking.
Nicole, so either or. What's your rest time? 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yes, our rest time is 20 minutes. So those are the good macaroons, and now he's going to show you what the overmixed cookies would look like. Do we bake on convection?
Yes, you can bake at 275 on convection.
If you're baking on convection, he says it's 275. At home, we have a gas oven and a convection oven. So
Sorry, these are coming up funky. I don't have a tip.
how many trays at a time? 4?
2.
2. Well, we bake 2 per oven.
Well, yeah. All right. So you can see before I even tap the tray how much the overmixed ones are spreading.
Temp for electric?
300.
300. 275, how long?
And a convection.
Yes.
I usually do about 18, 19 minutes for 2 trays. So you can tell the difference here. Here's my overmixed ones. See how much they spread out? And these are my undermix, not under, but
So these are the good ones, and that's an overmixed.
it's spread out. It's really shiny.
Bake time for electric is what, 18, 19?
18, 19.
Will you hold that for a second? So tell them that these are going to rest or whatever, and we're going to move into the white chocolate. I just want to take a quick picture of this.
So yeah, we are going to rest these for 20 minutes. Now, technically with Swiss method, you don't have to rest because when you cook the egg whites, you're not creating, but you're activating the protein in the egg white, so they form a skin a lot faster. Now in South Georgia, the humidity is really high, so I find that mine explode if I don't let them rest. So we are going to move into the white chocolate ganache now. Okay, 1 second. Let's do the buttercream first.
Okay, what temp do you recommend for commercial gas convection? I usually bake French for 10 minutes at 280.
Is it convection?
Yes, it's a yes.
I would say 275, the same.
What if I have, so let me type that out. I think that was Sarah. James said about what, 275?
Yeah, about 270. I would cook it on the same. I'm pretty sure that's what I baked on it circa.
What if I have 4+ pans and can only cook 2 at a time? So tray 3 and 4 rest for 40 and 5 and 6 rest for an hour. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, that's okay. Nicole, you're gonna rest them for about 20 minutes and then in a regular oven at 300 for 18 to 19 minutes.
For 2 trays.
For 2 trays.
If you're baking 1 tray, I would check them after about 15 minutes. And I'll show you how to check them when that time comes. But if you're going to cook 2 at the same time, I recommend be prepared to not waste a couple batches, but it's going to take some figuring out with your oven which racks to put them in. Start with the top and bottom rack if you're going to do 2 trays. Or like actually in our oven, I figured it out. So let me see it real quick. This is where I'll bake them at in my oven, on the top and the second from the bottom. Here. I'm going to move my white chocolate ganache to the freezer It's not quite cold enough yet, so we'll do buttercream first. I mean, it doesn't have to be completely solid, but you don't want it to be runny either.
So he's getting ready to show you guys how he does buttercream. It's going to be 1 stick of butter and
Yeah, 2.
which one?
Well, I was going to say a cup and a half, but that's what I do for.
Do you have a cup and a half?
Huh?
So anyway, sorry. It's going to be 1 stick of butter and 2 cups of powdered sugar. He was thinking about his cake buttercream.
So my cake buttercream is pretty thin. Makes it easier to spread. But I like my macaroni filling to be a little thicker. That way, I think what the lady, I don't know her name, was talking about is to keep the macaroni filling from squishing out.
Unsalted or salted?
Unsalted butter. I use unsalted butter for everything, honestly.
Well, no, you can use whatever flavoring you want.
Yeah, you can use whatever flavor you want. I use unsalted butter because I can taste the difference in my buttercream.
Today he's going to be using this cream cheese emulsion.
For pumpkin spice filling.
If you're interested in fillings, this is a good brand to look at. It's Amaretti.
They're awesome.
We love them. They're expensive, just a warning, but they will last forever. They go far.
Yeah, and I mean, like we got this probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But well, no, I'm saying the shelf life is very long.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this doesn't expire until another year, November 2022. So the shelf life on them is long.
Yes.
I wasn't saying that because it's.
I like the cream cheese emulsion. I do not like their princess emulsion.
No,
The princess was so gross.
But we do use their other emulsions. Their lemon, strawberry, blueberry.
Amaretti is way better than the Loran emulsions. It's like way, way, way better. So right now he has, what are you looking for? Paddle. So this is a stick of butter, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and then whatever flavoring you're going to use. Carrie, the measurements change based on what the Amaretti flavor is. You might, this one says, 3 to 5%. So it's going to vary just based on the.
It's just, I would recommend just do it to taste.
We just throw in like, a half a tablespoon, a tablespoon. The butter is cold. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, Nicole, that's fine.
I prefer cold butter. Making buttercreams, they just hold up better. So I'm gonna whip this, cream it.
Do you know how long the macarons have been resting?
How long have they been resting?
I have no idea. So now he's adding the 2 cups of powdered sugar. This is the base recipe that we use for almost all of our buttercream fillings. I know a lot of people will doggone American buttercream. We use it for almost everything.
But we also only use butter. We don't use crispy or vegetable shortening at all.
In case you didn't hear him, he said, but we also only use butter, no Crisco or vegetable shortening. So it's full butter buttercream. Oh, yeah. So this one's Loran. And then this is the Amaretti. Oh, check up there. So now he's adding a tablespoon of half and half.
Usually I use heavy cream, but we're out.
No, Janelle, I grabbed this just to show you Amaretti. We're not using carrot cake today. Why don't you use a whisk right now?
It's a stiffer buttercream. I don't ever use a whisk for buttercream. That's how. I use about 2 teaspoons of flavoring.
I haven't typed out the method. I probably won't be able to type that out tonight. My kid is at home sick, but I'll get to it soon.
I'm just going to scrape the side of the bowl. If you want it a little thinner, just add a little more heavy cream, half and half milk, whatever you have. This is about a consistency that I like.
I have the recipes posted in the event. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there should be 2 graphics where I posted the ingredients. I'll type up the method eventually, but it won't be today. My daughter is at home puking. If you're just coming on right now, James has made a buttercream. The ingredients are in the event page, but this is cream cheese for today with Loran's emulsion. Some of our popular fall flavors. No, actually, Bobby, we usually use heavy cream too. We were just out today. Yes, Nicole, 2 cups of confection sugar. Um, we were just out of heavy cream, so he used half and half. Evelyn, I think she ate too many boiled peanuts. Um, She's been snacking on Cajun boiled peanuts all day, so hopefully that's all that it is. Our fall macaroon flavors, we didn't really sell a lot this season. We have been scaling back from macaroons to focus more on cakes, but traditionally they would have been pumpkin cheesecake, pumpkin spice, praline, gingerbread was popular last year, apple cider, hot chocolate. S'mores is always a popular one. We just haven't been focusing on macaroons like I would like to. James got a little burnt out, to be honest. Salted caramel, yeah, salted caramel is always popular. Is there pumpkin in the pumpkin spice?
No.
No. So for the pumpkin spice macaroon, we would just flavor the shells with pumpkin spice and then do a cream cheese filling. For the praline, I just made a batch of pralines and then I would whip that into vanilla buttercream. If you look up Emerald Lagassi's praline recipe, it's really good. The s'mores is a chocolate shell, and then I will do a ring of chocolate buttercream and put a marshmallow in the center. If you're feeling fancy, you can do a Swiss meringue vanilla buttercream and put a torch to it for s'mores.
You can't torch the buttercream.
But you can't torch it. No, Evelyn says, do you have any natural way to flavor the buttercream, or do we always use emulsions? Just to keep our costs down, we almost always use emulsions or extracts, something that we can buy from, Kroger. Our business isn't, focused on natural, but you could definitely do strawberries and
yeah, I mean you can make curds. And
you can make
like
fruit curds. Tomorrow, James is doing a live on creme brulee and lemon curd. Becky said dried fruit.
You can pulverize freeze-dried fruit and add it to your buttercream.
You can pulverize freeze-dried fruit and add it to your buttercream. Is the salted caramel a buttercream? I'll share. Do you have that recipe still?
Yeah.
It is a buttercream.
I mean, honestly, the easiest thing to do, and this is what I do now. I'll make my buttercream as I normally would. Then I will boil a can of
Dulce de leche.
Sweetened condensed milk, or you can just use the dulce de leche that they sell, and add that to my buttercream.
So in case you didn't hear him, he usually just makes a batch of vanilla buttercream and then we'll add canned dulce de leche into the buttercream. You can find that in the same area of your baking store as the sweetened condensed milk.
So this is my ganache set in the freezer, firmed up.
I find that in the macaroon groups, one of the things that people do is overthink. They overthink. Yes, Nicole, the buttercream has been done and bagged. Sorry. Right now, this is the white chocolate ganache that he's put into the mixer. I think we left Nicole behind. Yes. Usually we're so last minute that we just buy it instead of boiling it away. We're not usually prepared.
But you can take you can take a can of sweetened condensed milk and boil that, and that'll turn it into the same thing.
Yeah, that's what Evelyn just said.
Oh.
So this is the white chocolate ganache going into the mixer on speed.
Just